to deliver positive change for benefit for people of Pakistan. Therefore, urge all provincial governments to bring focus and energy on transformative reforms on education sector, not just on improving access to primary secondary education for all children, but for ensuring quality as well. Mr. Speaker, respected parliamentarians, I am sure all agree that our health sector is in urgent need of rebuilding and scaled up expansion. Regular investments in the primary and secondary health infrastructure as well as human resources are needed to ensure that every citizen has access to quality of healthcare services and that no citizen lacks medical care. Mr. Speaker, a combination of factors has come together to create what I see as a crisis of income and food insecurity. For many of our people, I am pointing, of course, to the large number of our population that has been slipping into poverty, either through climate impacts on their incomes and assets or sheer cost of living pressure on the families. It is our responsibility to ensure that they move out of extreme vulnerability within the ability to access opportunities for jobs and resources to reinvest in farms, livestock and small businesses. I am proud to say that I come from a political background that has rich legacy of empowering and protecting all those at the bottom of the social pyramid, including women. Shaheed Mohtarma Benazir Bhutto was a champion of women's rights and always went on extra mile in advancing women's causes, just as she sought entitlement of economically and socially vulnerable groups of Pakistan. I am very proud of the fact the Benazir Income Support Program has been providing a lifeline to millions of vulnerable women across the country, offering them financial assistance and social protection, while giving many women the incentives and seed capital to start up small businesses. I'm glad that the number of the beneficiaries of the Poverty Alleviation Program has risen to over 9 million, but we need to bring more underprivileged women into the social safety net. I am hopeful that the new government will actively work to reduce social and economic fragility while aggressively promoting girls' education and health, including programs to reduce maternal, maternal and enhance mother and child income. Mr. Speaker, you are aware the menace of terrorism is again rearing its ugly head and is threatening our nation's security as well as regional peace and prosperity. Pakistan believes that terrorism is a shared concern that requires collective efforts. We expect neighboring countries to take strong notice of terrorist groups who are involved in launching attacks against our security forces and people. Today I reaffirm the nation's resolve to eliminate terrorist elements. My late wife, the twice elected Prime Minister of Pakistan, Mohtarma Benazir Bhutto Shaheed, gave her life standing up to terrorists, so you will never find me wanting in building the unity and the momentum behind such an effort. We are proud of our armed forces, law enforcement agencies who have rendered immense sacrifice and played a heroic role in the fight against terrorism, defense of our national frontiers. I will also take to to take this opportunity to thank our friendly countries, particularly Saudi Arabia, UAE, China, Turkey, and Qatar, who have always supported Pakistan in difficult times. It is important also to recognize the US, EU, and UK have all been established trade partners with a history of cooperation in many sectors, which we hope will grow further. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to China for its unwavering support to Pakistan in various fields and enduring strategic all-weather friendship between Pakistan and China is a cornerstone of stability in the region. We remain steadfast in our commitment to collaborate with China to advance our shared goals and fostering regional peace, promoting connectivity, ensuring prosperity, and maintaining stability, which includes completion of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. We will not allow hostile elements to jeopardize this vital project or undermine the strong bond between our two nations. We will take all necessary measures to ensure the security of our Chinese brethren and sisters. Before I conclude, I must remind the world of the unsung sacrifices of our Kashmiri brethren, their ongoing struggle for the freedom of Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. The revocation of Article 370 and 35A is part of India's strategy to reduce Kashmiris Muslims to a minority in our own homeland. Pakistan rejects the one-sided India action and calls upon India to reverse all illegal measures taken on or after 5th of August 2008.